Hello, friends and family from around the world. This is Mike with Daily Events Worldwide, and we are on March 15th, 2022. Welcome to another surviving day on the planet. Welcome to the Daily Dew, giving you a space weather update, world weather, earthquakes, and volcanoes, looking at the last 48 hours on our sun. And boy, oh boy, we've had an active sun. We've had about 9 flare events in the past 48 hours. A couple of them are noticeable here, especially the bright region, northern hemisphere. Looking at the last 48 hours incoming, pretty active cresting region. As well, large plasma filaments still hanging around the southern parts of the disk. Looking at outgoing imagery here. Plasma filament ejected from the right-hand side there, southern hemisphere of our sun. And then that bright region coming in there, releasing an M-class solar flare. Right here. Boom. So we've had an M-class and 2 C-class flares in the past 24 hours, and we've seen about 9 events in the past 48 hours. Little hyperactive spot there cresting. Looking at the last 48 hours, 171 angstroms. Coronal hole developing in the southern hemisphere. And one of those solar flares was shot out the backside of the sun. Another close look here at the coronal hole developing southern hemisphere. Looking at ISWA space prediction spiral, as you can see, backside solar flare. And we are expecting increasing space weather here tomorrow into the 16th. And then again, 18th into the 19th. And then as from our past 2 events on the sun, looking at solar X-ray flux, as you can see, we've got 9 events over the past 3 days. 2 M-class solar flares and 4 C-class solar flares. Looking at LASCO 2 at the events that happened today. Large ejecta coming from the southern hemisphere. That was the backside eruption. Looking at a real-time solar wind, so we are sitting at about 404 kilometers per second. Hopped up a couple times today to about 538 kilometers per second. Schumann resonance for today, a power of 13. Quality of 8.8. Amplitude 13, power 7. Have a quick look around the world the last 24 hours for earthquakes. We've seen about 280 according to USGS. Looking around the globe, we've seen lots of 4s and 5s, especially around Philippines and Indonesia still, after those large earthquakes the other day. Just recently, Cabra, Philippines, 5.0, 43-kilometer depth. As well, Tondano, Indonesia, 45-kilometer depth. And Periaman, Indonesia, that was where they had that large 6.7 the other day. So aftershocks continue through the region. 4.9 here reported. Japan, southern islands, as well. Xinjiang, China, 4.2, 4.4 there. Karamay, China, and as well a 4.7 reported here in Kutasai, 4.7 Georgia. Carrying on here, North Japan, 4.3, Namero. Alaska, seeing some activity as well. Largest being the 4.4 or 4.0 here in Kaktovik, Alaska. And then across the United States, largest being reported here, 3.4 Alamo, Nevada, 12-kilometer depth. as well, 3.1 there. Ridgecrest. Some rare earthquakes here at southern Texas. Fowlerton, 2.5, as well, 2.6. And as well, a 2.6 here, Warsaw, New York. That's right, New York reporting a 2.6 earthquake. 2.9 there in Mammoth, Wyoming as well. Venezuela reporting a 4.6 today. Minor activity through Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Getting into South America, 4.0 just recent. Chile as well. Very active South Sandwich Islands today. 5.3 ranging down to the 4.7. And that's the last 24 hours for earthquakes across the planet. Again, USGS reporting 280 and no major swarms to talk about. Quick look here at the last 7 days for earthquakes across the world. Let's get to the Pacific Disaster Center, showing most recent satellite imagery and as well most recent volcanoes getting updated. Looking at Semeru, Indonesia, Swiss Najima, Japan, Reventador in Ecuador, Sabancaya in Peru, Sangay in Ecuador, Bezimieni, Russia, Fuego, Guatemala, Manam, Papua New Guinea, Nevadas de Ruz, Colombia, as well as Sheveluch in Russia, Kamchatka. So that's 2 that have awakened Kamchatka. Got about 13 volcanoes erupting, getting updated today. Pointing out here that large system that was heading through the North Atlantic and storms forecasted there through Spain, as well Brazil and Guyana. Pretty big system in the northern hemisphere as well, starting to bring all that moisture into parts of BC and then more so into northern BC along the coastline up into Alaska. Stay tuned for the forecast coming right up. Flooding conditions continue through eastern and South Australia. As well, we have one tropical storm to talk about. Tropical Cyclone Billy is alive. Long-range forecast shows that going towards Mauritius, and they're already dealing with floods, as well as South Africa, from the last cyclone that has gone through there. And they've seen about 8 this season. Extreme cold, parts of northern Greece reported, as well stormy conditions through Spain. Let's get to the forecast here, brought to you by VentuSky, and as well daily events worldwide. Starting out here, North America, as we've got a pretty big low moving in for Wednesday and Thursday, southeastern United States, and that's going to roar up the coastline. Really warm temperatures heading into Ontario this week, and then watch for that Colorado low to bring cold temperatures back in the long range. As well, observing here that very large low in the East Pacific, bringing in tons of rain for the next few days. Northern BC. And then the long range forecast for next weekend. Got a pretty big low pressure system heading into Ontario and as well northeastern parts of the United States. Going to bring some extreme weather to the Atlantic provinces. Overlooking Europe. Low pressure center just south of Spain. As well, a low east of Ukraine. Over the next few days, no major systems are going to be affecting you. Most of the extreme weather is up into Greenland and Iceland right now with that huge cyclone bomb that is heading towards the North Pole. But long-range forecast here, watch for a system to linger around the Black Sea, and as well another system heading into Spain for the long range. Big low here developing over Russia. Could bring a late season winter storm. Overlooking Southeast Asia, West Pacific. Low pressure center heading out of China this week. Watch for that to develop into a pretty strong system in the West Pacific in the next few days. Overlooking Malaysia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea. Indonesia and Sumatra will be receiving a lot of daily evaporation rains this week, as well another tropical cyclone here developing northwest Australia. Just off the coastline, it looks like it will be ushered out into the Indian Ocean. And then long-range forecast here next Thursday into the 24th. We've got a pretty big cyclone here developing and will be affecting the island of Mauritius, and quite possibly Reunion Island as well, depending on its trajectory at the time. So yet another system heading towards Madagascar, overlooking Australia. Going to be pretty dry throughout the week. Southeastern parts, scattered showers, northwestern as well. Northern Territory, increasing cloud and rains in the long-range forecast. Could be a system developing there. Overlooking New Zealand, dry for the next few days, but some pretty big lows, stretching a lot of moisture through the southern hemisphere right now, South Pacific. As well in the long-range forecast here, we've got an intense system that will be heading towards Hawaii in the long range, so stay tuned to Daily Dew, keeping you informed with world weather forecast. Overlooking South America, no major systems to talk about. Daily evaporation rains continue. Overlooking Africa, same thing, no major weather events. Could see a low trap there in the long-range forecast through central parts of Africa. Quick look around the world here. This is wind gusts. And then looking at windy.com here for the forecast winds for the next few days. As well, I'm going to leave you here looking at our northern hemisphere at 10,000 feet versus our southern. Thanks very much for watching today. This has been Mike with your Daily Dew, keeping humanity aware and prepared, and broadcasting the world weather forecast. Much love, prayers for humanity. Stay aware and prepared. Stay young and have fun. And get your Daily Dew. Bye-bye now. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends and family from across the world.